What is going on, everybody? Mr. Lad over here. I am on the way to the dentist, but before we get into the video, I want to show you guys my view every single morning. This is what I drive by every single morning on the way to work. I am so thankful that I live on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Good Lord, I love it over here. It's the most beautiful, wonderful, amazing, disgusting place ever. With that being said, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please press the subscription button. I don't know. I'm horrible at these intros. I don't know. Wax that like button for the YouTube algorithm and stay tuned. Thank you so much. Love you all. So guys, I filmed a video. Well, I don't say I filmed a video, but I filmed the actual application process of the subject that is in the title, as you've already read as of now. I don't know. I'm driving and I'm on the way to the dentist, and no one's happy when they go to the dentist. But, you know, there's not a big topic about this. There's not a big conversation going on amongst detailers, but I think there is a humongous misconception of this topic, and I wanted to kind of show the differences. So a lot of people, a lot of detailers, at least about 2 years ago, when it came to using a foam cannon, everyone was trying to get the thickest, most shaving cream-like suds out there in their foam cannon. And within the past couple years, now there has been an introduction to what we call foam soaps. Before, really the only foam soap out there was Chemical Guys, Honeydew Snow Foam, and maybe a couple others. But those still went along the lines of the shaving cream-like products. I don't know. And so, you know, a lot of people are asking, which one's better? What do I want? You know, we all like to see shaving cream. We all like to see that type of result coming out of our foam cannon because it looks awesome. It looks wonderful. It's great for marketing. It's great for so many things. But is it really... Sorry, I'm looking at a red light here trying to see if I'm allowed to drive or not. But is it something that is necessary? Is it really what you want? Although, yeah, it looks nice, it looks wonderful. Is it really giving you the best case scenario? Let's try to adjust my hand here. There you go. Is it giving you the best case scenario? Are these shaving cream, like, you know, foam soaps, are they really giving you the benefit of the doubt? And so I wanted to kind of pair up a couple soaps here. So the first soap you're going to see me use is by Chemical Guys. It is their watermelon snow foam, which apparently is the same exact formulation as honeydew, just a different color as well as a different scent. And so the first one you'll see is that, and as I'm using it, I'll kind of explain, doing a little bit of a voiceover. And then the second soap you're going to see me use is from a company called Detail Pro. They really don't have much clout in the market. You really don't hear about them much, but there's a few products that have really kind of stood out from them. And there's a local distributor by my house who sells, obviously, car candy, which you've seen me talk about before, as well as Detail Pro and a couple other product lineups as well. And so I want to kind of show you that. I'm going to show you the differences of the products, and I want you to kind of come up with a decision to your own. I'll explain my thoughts, but you know, go ahead and throughout this video, come up with a decision of your own. What do you like better? What do you find more beneficial? What do you see better for your environment? So guys, thank you so much. Sorry, that was a little bit of a long introduction here, but I hope you enjoy the content, and yeah, talk to you soon. All right, so first order of business. First up is the Chemical Guys watermelon snow foam. Now, I've kind of got this all sped up here. Hopefully you can really kind of tell the difference between the two soaps, you know, on the video. Hopefully that's kind of clear enough. But there are some clear, distinct differences. First one is obviously, if you can see it in the video, but it's the shaving cream texture of the soap when it comes out. Now, I'm kind of using a low output pressure washer here, so it's not going to show, or it's not going to be the most defined, but you could even still tell a difference between the actual soaps, even with this pressure washer here. So, you know, I kind of went up to the vehicle. The first thing I noticed when you kind of saw me do it with my hand, I kind of picked up the soap and all that. It's thicker in my hand than the next one that I'll show you. but the lubricity is not up to par. So we're working with less lubricity here, as well as it is a bit thicker. So that's pretty good. You know, it's great marketing. It's going to be good visually speaking. You can kind of see now how it falls off. And I don't want to say everything before my final thoughts of the video, but you'll even see the soap even separates from each other, kind of falls off the panel different than the next soap. So I'm going to kind of go ahead and, you know, cut forward about a minute, kind of shave a minute off this video here, and I'll show you the rinse off. So here's the rinse off, and what I'm noticing here is that the soap is grabbing to the vehicle just a little bit, and it seems to, you know, it's rinsing, but it's not the freest of rinses. I'm still noticing it kind of stick to the panel a little bit, so that's something to keep in mind. But let's go ahead and let's check the rest of this out. Alright, so next up now we are working with Detail Pro's Whiteout Foam Cannon Soap. Now I wish Detail Pro was, you know, a little more of a popular brand. Unfortunately, they don't have a whole lot of clout in the community here, so it's kind of hard to get a hold of their products unless you go to a distributor or contact them directly. But, you know, this soap now, we're getting more of an even lather. You could see, even though the video, of course, is sped up, but it kind of falls off just a tad bit quicker. It's like an even lather on the paint. We're not dealing with shaving cream here. We're dealing with, you know, a lather around the vehicle, which has its pros. It has its cons, like anything else. But, you know, it's kind of just sitting there, and it's not clumping together during the fall off. I'm noticing a little bit more of, I guess you can say, surface coverage, although the layer of soap is less than the watermelon snow foam. I'm seeing a little bit more of a consistent layer of coverage, you know, but one of the things that I noticed when I touch the paint, I'm sorry, not touch the paint, when I'm touching the soap here, I'm noticing that there is a lot of lubricity in the soap, which is actually very good for, especially if you want to use it as a bucket wash as well as a foam cannon soap, or a pre-rinse or a pre-wash. So you know, I'm just kind of walking around showing you kind of some of the areas to point out. Another thing to take notice of right here is the fact that it rinses fairly well. It actually rinses a lot easier than some other soaps. Thing is that since there's less soap on the panel, technically, there's a lot less to rinse away, and it just seems to not try to stick to the panel so much. It's more trying to emulsify the dirt and pull it away rather than just simply sticking to the panel. All right, guys, so there you have it. That was, you know, both those products. I don't know what else to say. There are two big differences between the products. Now, the watermelon snow foam, obviously when using it, you're going to notice much more of a shaving cream consistency. It looks much better for social media marketing, and even driving down the street, you know, if you're working on the car and someone was driving, watching you work, that might stand out or pop a little bit more to the viewer's eyes. Whereas the foam soap now, you're getting much more of an even lather. The lather's much different, and it's going on kind of like, it's definitely not suds. It's not like shaving cream consistency. It doesn't come out like that. It produces good output, but, you know, you're not having that consistency like watermelon snow foam or any really other snow foams, at least from back in the day. You know, it's going to be much more of an even lather consistency. And so those are some of the most noticeable differences. Another large difference is the amount of lubricity that the products put out. So the watermelon, I always want to say honeydew snow foam. The watermelon snow foam is much more, it's definitely, the lubricity level, although it isn't horrible, it is nowhere it's nowhere as lubricious as the Detail Pro Whiteout. That's the name of the product, Whiteout. And so, you know, that can make or break your world. And actually, I think that's a very, very important distinction. So you need to make sure that, you know, if you're using the Honeydew the Watermelon Snow Foam, or any of the Chemical Guys snow foams, you need to make sure that you're going to complement it with a bucket wash that has a good amount of lubricity. Another large difference that I noticed is the rinse off. So when I was rinsing off the Watermelon Snow Foam, I gotta always remember Watermelon Snow Foam. When I was rinsing that off with the pressure washer, I noticed that, especially on the windows, you would really notice it. The soap would tend to grab a bit. It tends to kind of, it wants to stick to the window, which can leave some residue behind. You'd have to definitely do a good, thorough contact wash with probably a different type of soap. Now, I used to strictly use Honeydew Snow Foam, and you know, I would strictly use that, and it worked well because I was used to different soaps before that, which were horrible. And so Honeydew for me was a good step up. Well, now as technology is advancing and you know, we're getting more familiar and more acquainted with different companies, different technologies, and different formulations and blends, you know, the industry is constantly advancing. So what the Honeydew Snow Foam probably came out about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, where Whiteout just came out within the past few months. So there's that much more time of advancing the formulation. Whiteout has had more time to be able to get their formulation right before revealing the product. And so Whiteout removed much easier, much quicker. I noticed that it was much easier to rinse out the cracks. I'll edit that one out. It was much easier to rinse out, and that is an extreme benefit, because when I'm drying the vehicle, the objective is to dry, you know, to make sure there's more water than soap on the panel, because if you're drying soap, well, it's just going to leave residue on the panel. And that's another thing too. Obviously, I kind of alluded to it already, but Watermelon Snow Foam left residue on the vehicle, where in turn Whiteout really didn't leave much residue. And so, you know, there's so many differences between these types of products. And is one better than the other? I think it's not necessarily that one is better than the other. I just think that, you know, depending on what you want in your company, for instance, down here in South Florida, when you're working in, or really anywhere, let's get away from just South Florida. When you're working anywhere and there's direct sunlight, you know, these high shaving cream like foams can cause an issue because they dry quicker, and that makes it kind of tough to navigate. Where, you know, you want something like a maybe like a foam, like the Whiteout foam soap, foam cannon soap, as it's designated on the bottle, that doesn't really dry as quick. Yes, there may not be as much on the panel at the end of it all, but it doesn't dry as quick. Oh, and that leads me to another difference. So maybe you noticed this, maybe you didn't notice it in the video. So Watermelon Snow Foam, as it would fall off the vehicle after its not curing process, but as it was sitting and it was falling off of the vehicle, you'll notice that it kind of clumps together. It's almost like looking at a swamp and looking at lily pads in there, how they're so sporadic. There's like these green clumps. Now obviously the car didn't have green clumps, but kind of understand my illustration here. When you're looking at lily pads in a swamp, it's like spot here, spot here, spot here, spot here.
In 1 mile, turn left onto West Prospect Road.
Thanks, Siri. And so, you know, you have that. I got low battery too. You have that you're working with there. And so what that means is that there are parts of the vehicle that are not in contact with soap for as long as other parts of the vehicle. And where in turn that causes an issue, that can actually promote or enhance the risk of water spotting. Whereas the foam soap, although hopefully it was noticeable on the camera, you know, it kind of was just more like an even come off. It like kind of all, if it was coming off, it all came off together. And I think Was there more soap on the panel at the end? No, because, you know, with whiteout, it didn't put as much foam on the car as watermelon snow foam, but it was more together, not more together, it was more even in comparison to watermelon snow foam, which kind of clumped together, like I said, like lily pads in a swamp, or, you know, it had those spots like freckles on the face, like me over here, my freckle face. It was kind of like that. And so, you know, there's so many differences, but which one is better? That's really going to be for you to decide as a consumer. That's going to be for you to decide as a user. What do you prefer? Are you working outside or are you working inside? Have you learned how to navigate using watermelon snow foam or honeydew snow foam or any of these other just soaps that just produce these really thick, voluptuous, you know, suds? Have you learned how to handle those, or are you still trying?
Turn left onto West Prospect Road.
Thanks, Siri. Where is West Prospect Road anyway? Ah, there it is. Found her. You know, if you've learned how to navigate that and you like what it produces, then I'd say stick with it. But for me, you know, I find that I work a little bit against myself when I'm using a soap like that, and I always notice it. It's the same thing that I find with these wash and wax soaps. It always poses an issue when it comes to cleaning the windows at the end, and especially if I'm out in the hot sun. Now I've got residue, soap residue that's left on the windows. That is a pain in the neck to work with. So, you know, I like whiteout. I like watermelon honeydew snow foam. I think they're both great soaps. For me personally, I will probably stick with whiteout or soaps like whiteout, just because I find myself not working against myself. Double speaking here. Oh, come on, car. If you're going to turn. Come on. This is what happens when you record videos on the road. And these guys don't even turn.
In 1 mile, turn right onto North State Road 7.
And then you got the GPS working against you too, right? And so, you know, I like whiteout, and I'll probably stick with something like whiteout. There's tons of foam soaps out there. You don't have to stick with whiteout. I know DPC, Luxury Microfiber, just came out with their foam maintenance wash. There's tons. Turtle Wax has one, although I'm not the biggest fan of it. I like Turtle Wax. I just, you know, that product, that soap it's not sitting well with me at the moment. I'm still trying to understand it a bit. But there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you prefer these high shaving cream soaps, or do you prefer a smooth, even lather? You know, both of them are fine. Both of them have their pros and cons. So, you know, let me know what you think below. Once again, Mr. Lather here signing out. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do so if you like this content. Wax that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And so sorry for filming while I'm driving. Just happened to be the best.
Use the right 2 lanes to turn onto North State Road 7.
Oh, I hate GPSs. Love you guys. Take care.